All right. Welcome to episode 2 of Last One to Katahdin Wins, How to Hike the Appalachian Trail when you're old enough to know better. I'm Huckleberry Min, and I'm here to tell you how to prepare, because you should be prepared. As all good Boy Scouts know, you should be prepared. So how do you prepare to be gone for 5 months? 5 months, that's almost half a year. How do you prepare? Well, you need to prepare the home front. You need to get the home front ready for your absence. Hopefully it'll make a difference, you being gone. You need to get gear prepared. You need to get prepared physically. I'm going to talk about these 3 things today. And I think all of these, there's issues on all of these you need to start now. If you're going to hike in 2023, which is soon. You may decide to start at the end of February, beginning of March. That's coming up, okay? That's coming up. And unless you're going to southbound, um, then you're going to start, before winter's over. So there I am wearing my gear. There's my gear all laid out. The obligatory gear presentation you'll probably make on the 2023 Through Hiker Facebook page, and people give you a lot of input on that photo. They did me, and I paid attention a lot. But I tell you what, by the time I got to Damascus, a fourth of the way through the hike, I had taken more of the advice, because people will tell you, and they're right, the less weight you have, the happier you're going to be, because in the end, you're going to be doing this. You're going to be climbing a lot. You're going to be climbing a lot. So you need to prepare for that. And you do that by getting yourself ready physically and by making smart gear choices. And it's not that easy to make those gear choices. So how do you get ready for the back home? Well, you got your bills and finances. I found that pretty easy. There's auto pay. And on the trail, Bubba, let me tell you, there's a lot of internet. I mean, you will find a lot of internet. I met people paying bills at the top of ridges all along the Appalachian Trail. I myself, one time, I needed to get airplane tickets to fly my son home, and I could do that from the middle of the woods. There's good internet, a lot. And so it comes down to communications for some of your bills and finances kind of stuff. And you need to think about having a decent power block for that. Spend money on your power block. I did. I got a decent power block. Doesn't have to be huge. Maybe 10,000 milliamps is probably plenty to charge a phone 2 or 3 times. Have a decent phone. I replaced my phone halfway through. I needed a phone with a better battery. My phone was already old. So I spent, some money getting a newer phone. And you're going to use your phone a lot. You can call, you can text frequently. So if you have people at home that need to know you're okay, it's really reliably easy to do that almost daily from somewhere during that day. You might have to plan it out and check when you're up high for signal, because sometimes down at a campsite you won't have it. I carried a Garmin InReach Mini. Some people carry a device called a Spot. They're satellite devices that allow you to reach out and send messages. And the Garmin lets you do a lot of texting. And I could text daily with the Garmin when I was leaving, when I got to camp. And people could follow my route. There's some tricks for making these work without using up all your battery power that you'd have to suss out. But make a decision about these. I'm going to tell you, they're expensive. If I had to do over again, if it was just me, I would not have carried one, because the phone made communication so easy. And these guys are several $100s. And then there's a subscription fee to use them as well. And so it's a big chunk of the budget. And phones really work. And it didn't seem to matter what the carrier was. I had AT&T's redheaded stepchild Cricket, which is a really cheap phone service a lot of old folks use. And it's great. And I had good communication. Think about how you're going to use social media. That's another way to stay in touch. I had a Facebook group called Corey's Appalachian Trail Hike. You probably could find it right now. And weekly, I would have good enough internet to upload photos and videos. Photos I could do almost daily, but videos I really needed, really a lot of bars, or Wi-Fi. And people at home really enjoyed. I had no idea, but people at home really enjoyed following me on the trail. I'd make little videos and send some pictures, and it was fun for me and fun for them as well. So there's my what a Garmin InReach Mini looks like. It's really small. There's my charging block. There's a Core charging block, 10,000 milliamps, and it was had a carbon fiber case, which I think was good. I mean, it held up great. I was really careful to keep it dry, and charged all my stuff. I had a Kindle, which I got rid of eventually. I could just read it. Once I had a phone with a better battery, I could use the phone for more things. I read my books and stuff off the phone. Same thing, I had a little radio here. I just used my phone for listening to music and junk to get me through the harder parts of the day. Gear's a big question you need to think about early because it's expensive. And the more time you have to look for gear, the more of a chance there is you can buy stuff on sale. And I'll tell you full prices for the things I carry and help you make some decisions. You'll no doubt do more research, and you might need to try out a hammock to see if it'll work for you. I mean, I can't imagine sleeping in a hammock. I will tell you maybe one in, I don't know, 10 people had hammocks, and the hammock people loved them. They really did. So is your setup going to be ultralight or durable? Almost can be both. Almost can be both. Actually, the ultralight tends to be made out of some really tough material. And so the choice may be between prices for ultralight versus durable. Does it stand up by itself, or does it need, hiking poles to set it up? That's a big choice. I wanted something that did not have to have hiking poles to set up. To make it easier to set up. The hiking pole tents aren't that hard to set up. But it was familiar to me, and also I can use it on canoe trips. I do a lot of canoe trips, so you need to make choices about your sleeping system. And in all this stuff you'll research. There's people that do a lot of great gear evaluations, really specific. They'll help you make choices between specific tents and between tents and hammocks. And you'll look those up. You'll follow Dixie, you'll follow Darwin on the Trail, or Bigfoot. Those are the three people I really learned a lot from. But I'm sure there's newer folks out there now. I still like those three. Same thing with your sleeping system. You need to make choices. It's going to be a bag or a quilt, a sleeping bag or a quilt. A quilt's like a sleeping bag that just goes on top of you, and it kind of attaches some way or other to your sleeping pad. So your sleeping pad has to be insulated. That's fine. It should be anyway. But I'm a rotisserie sleeper. I had to have a bag, and a bag with a hood, because you could use the bag as a quilt when it wasn't so cold. And when it's colder, you zip that sucker up, put the sleeping bag hood on, and you really increase its thermal efficiency. Then you want a down or synthetic. Down is the warmest for its weight, but synthetic will manage moisture problems better. So I had a good tent. I wasn't worried about getting things wet. I took that down bag. I put it in a stuff sack, and the stuff sack had a plastic bag line in it. So I made sure it never got wet. And I think, I do a lot of canoe camping, and waters have a present danger there. What's the temperature range of your bag? Do you want to rely solely on your sleeping bag to keep you warm at night, or you understand that you can supplement it by putting all your clothes on? What you might do, you would be surprised. Listen, people, I come from Minnesota, and I went down to Georgia in April, and it snowed, and I did not understand that. But I thought I'm in the South. It's not snowing in Minnesota in April. Why would it be snowing in the southern mountains in North Georgia? Man, it surprised me. Your sleep pad is going to be a fold-up accordion foam pad. All the youngsters have those, or an inflatable pad. Man, I had an inflatable insulated pad. I'm 65 years old. I needed some comfort at night. I really did. And so they're expensive, and they can leak. Oh yeah, they can leak. I can tell you stories. But I had a pad that held up really well. You need to make backpack choices. This is going to be ultralight. Ultralight packs often can't carry as much weight. That's good, because you don't want to carry that much weight. But nevertheless, how much are you going to leave out? And less experienced backpackers are not as good at doing without. So How much weight will it carry? How big will it be? I had a 60-liter pack. It wasn't ultralight, but it was light. It was a 2-pound pack, not a 1-pound pack. It was a 60-liter pack, not a 40-liter pack. I was happy with that. It was a good setup for me. What's it going to be made out of? Believe it or not, a lot of backpacks are not waterproof. The ultralight packs are made out of waterproof materials, and the lightweight packs are not. And so if you don't have a waterproof pack, then you need a pack cover for walking in the rain. You really do. You will need that. So what's the pack made of? You'll learn about different materials. And Dyneema is the ultralight, very expensive, but waterproof material. And that brings us to price and sources. Do you want a commercial source or a cottage source? And if you want the ultralight materials, it's probably going to come from a small US company. My things came from US companies, but were manufactured overseas. And if you want US made, it's going to cost you more, but it'll probably be made out of more interesting materials. The materials will be part of the expense. Okay. I had a big Agnes tent. It's a Colorado company. The ultralight 2-person tent. And I mean, I put 2 people in it, but it was tight. But with 1 person, 2 doors is super comfortable. I appreciate it. And that's a bit of a luxury. This is a 2-pound tent. That's a very light tent. The next step up, you want a 1-pound tent, it's going to cost you $700. My pack was around $4 at the time. They've gone up. Hey, big surprise. I had a Cabela's extra wide down bag. It was a 15-degree bag. I was never cold. But it was a little heavy, a 3-pound bag. But I had it already. I had it at home. I thought, why should I buy a new bag? Well, I'll tell you why, to get rid of a pound. But I chose to use this bag. I used it for the first and last months of my trip. And I had a Sea to Summit Thermalite bag liner and a big Agnes synthetic 40-degree bag. Later on, when it warmed up, I picked up these things. And because I didn't need all that warmth. And so they were a lot lighter. Then I was running about 1.5 pounds for those 2 things. And a lot of flexibility. I could just use the liner bag if it's pretty hot. I could use them together if it's pretty cold. I could use the big Agnes bag as a quilt if it wasn't too cold but was cool. And I had a Nemo Tensor insulated pad. And listen, I'm going to tell you, it leaked the first day of the trip, first night. And I got Nemo to replace it. But it took a month to get that done. And the new one never leaked. I used it the whole rest of the trip. I'm embarrassed to say this, for 5 months, it didn't leak. My pack was a Granite Gear Crown 60-liter pack, and it was flawless. It doesn't look used. It's a 2-pound pack. It's got a little bit of a built-in frame, and it's a good compromise between ultralight and small. And it's about $200. So I had US companies, but they were not US made, as I said. And there's all my gear, everything. There is my pack on me. You get an idea how it rode. I was constantly adjusting the straps through the course of the day, depending on the load. I would adjust them also, and how much weight was in there as I used up food. There's my sleeping bag, my tent. I'm sorry, I love this tent. It's a fantastic tent. 2 doors, a little extra room. They have a 1-person version of this. I enjoyed having 2 doors and 2 vestibules. Could store, wet gear outside of the tent, which is a good thing. So what about your physical preparation? All I can say is, you don't have to do this. People say, well, you're not going to be hiking for 5 months. I mean, I could spend the first 2-3 weeks, getting into shape. And if you want to increase your chances of completing your hike, I would say start walking today and build up those miles and build up your speed and find hills and stairs to hike. Go to a stadium and walk the stairs. Go to the high school football stadium. Go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down those stairs. Find a building. Maybe the local hospital has 2 or 3 floors. Where I live, that's the case. It's hard to find hills. Do them hills, because you're going to start the trip with 600 stairs. That's the first thing you'll do is climb 600 stairs. Get used to climbing. You will not be sorry. get used to this climate. Start carrying your pack. You're going to feel like a fool and think you look like a fool, but who cares? You know, you're going to get used to that. Eventually, you'll look normal with the pack on. Walk in the rain, sleep in your tent. I mean, you need to test stuff out. Learn how your rain gear works. So tell you what, eventually, I had an umbrella and a rain skirt. I'm not even kidding. An umbrella and a rain skirt. Not the most expensive versions of either one, but an umbrella and a rain skirt, because the raincoat, you just sweat so much in it, you might as well not be wearing it. And until I got to the high open areas in New England, the umbrella was absolutely the way to go. So I'm not lying to you. And I go camping, do some shakedown hikes, learn how your gear works day after day. You might think you can learn to hike on the Appalachian Trail, but I tell you what, you're going to hike the first night. You're going to hike. You want to already know how to hike. I saw people the first night that didn't know how to camp, and you're going to do a lot of camping. You want to get good at it, efficient, and comfortable. And you want to be like that the day you show up. You do. That's my advice, at least. Okay. So you've got these things to get ready, the home front chores, the gear choices, and your physical conditioning. Start the physical conditioning right away and start making gear choices right away, because the sales are going on now, right? Between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So make those choices soon enough to save a little money. So, and yeah, there you have it. So until next time, this is Huckleberry Men saying happy trails.